Unconscious overstimulation and engagement in order to get the most out of your life's experience. Now, this is something that's continuously worked on because your brain is always going 100 million quadrillion neural synapses firing whenever, wherever, doing whatever, telling your body how to perceive everything, function, process. So how are you going to get out of this unconscious overstimulation? What's running your head? Now, every time you can recognize a thought loop, recognize a trigger that puts you in your head, you know, find out what you can use to combat that, what you can use to raise your boundaries, raise your standards to create a firewall. Now, one thing I love to use is the breath. We'll do a few. The breath. Real quick dive in. Whenever I'll catch myself in a thought loop, just overstimulated, like, am I communicating right in this video? Is there enough charisma? Am I using my hands to... Okay, breathe. And like that, I used the breath to create a space between me and that unconscious just overstimulation. I was able to recognize it because I was really pulling in. I was like, if I was stifled right now, what would I be stifled about? That was the first thing that came forth. Then I was like, okay, use the breath. The breath created a space. In this space, now I'm not looping on that. So I raise my standards and I'm like, get out of here. We'll come back this way again. Next time I catch myself in that loop, I'll have created a reference experience of raising my standards, raising my boundaries, so that you know that unconscious overstimulation is creeping in, it's dwelling. It's like, yes, take your focus away from what you were doing and focus on me. And I'm like, what are you doing? I told you go away last time. Be gone. Don't even need any resistance. This time it just leaves. It knows it's not welcome. So we did the breath. So say unconscious overstimulation is going, and you're scrolling on the gram, on TikTok, YouTube, Netflix. Like, wow, this people's life is so amazing. I wish I was there. Wish I was doing this. The FOMO. What's my life like? I'm just sitting here consuming this. I'm worthless. Oh, whoa! Was I judging myself again? No one's perfect. Everybody judges themselves. But do you continue to judge yourself after you realize you were judging yourself, or do you pull the brake? And what I'll do is I'll have been like triggered by judgment. Whoa. Okay. You are enough. You're able to catch yourself, realizing that you were thinking that you weren't enough. I laugh because I've worked against this trigger for so long that now it seems laughable. You judged yourself today? When was the last time you judged yourself? Oh, really? What happened then? Oh, you realized you were judging yourself and you stopped yourself. I'll create that space. I'll be like, wow, I'm changing my relationship with this trigger. So next time that judgment comes in, I'm like, wow, I'm in spectatorism, looking at all these people's lives. They're amazing. What's my life amounting to? Oh, judgment. Goodbye, judgment. Wow, simple as that. Oh, judgment's creeping back in. Well, I'm aware of it. It's interesting I judge myself on these loops continuously. It's almost like I like it. This unconscious part of me is clinging to this a little more than I wanted to. Goodbye, judgment. And soon that thing won't trigger you. You may fall into judgment somewhere else. But the point is, this unconscious overstimulation, the brain just going and going and going, just pulling up things out of thin air. I'm looking at this camera. Why would at me? Why would I judge myself based off of something in my brain that would remember that I would judge myself when I'm consuming media? Why would I fall into, what was the first one? I was sucking the face hugger thing. I don't even know. But the point is, if there's stuff in your brain that's being pulled up out of thin air when there's nothing to go on, your brain is working and doing things that you're unconscious of. But it brings it to your conscious awareness, that clinging, those residual thoughts that trigger you. And, you want to recognize them. You don't want to try to suppress them. You want to bring them up and be like, hello, and goodbye. Standard, boundary. My firewall's looking pretty fire right now. I'm going to remember this for next time, so that when it comes at me, firewall, goodbye. You start to distance and distance and distance yourself until you've gotten to a point where it doesn't bother you. And then you just continue working in other areas where you have blind spots. But hey, don't let that unconscious overstimulation take away from your engagement in living life to the fullest and enjoying yourself.